Tony Hawk taught me all about being cool growing up, going fast, listening to punk music, and tearing up the neighborhood. It's an important game, not just to me but to the entire extreme sports genre of games as a whole. Neversoft laid the foundation and built the house for every Jet Set Radio, Skate 3, and Disney's Extreme Skate adventure that would follow in its wake. This is all a preface to the fact that I will be referencing Tony and his Hawk a lot in this video, because we've got a wild one today. One of the most prolific Japanese game developers, Atlus Games, and the minds behind Ren and Stimpy, Spumco, coming together to make a skateboarding game. Sounds like a match made in a random number generator, yet here I am, a few playthroughs later, to tell you all about it. For the time being, I like these visuals and this music's pretty good too. They might just have the all-important aesthetic down for this game, which gives me hope. The opening track you're listening to right now is entitled Jam Jam Hype by the Japanese punk band Grizzly. If you want to find more about them, well, good luck. I couldn't past some songs uploaded to YouTube from what I assume is their one and only album. As far as plot is concerned, the tune goes something like this. The cartoon world exists parallel to our human world, and if you want to make the best cartoons, then you don't actually hand draw them, you hire toon actors to star, because they have the most soul! Spumco Studios is looking for a new star to their upcoming skating cartoon, so you frame yourself as your favorite one of these friends, looking to skateboard your way onto the storyboard to show that you're the one who should be penned in for this project. Depending on who you play as, you get an opening cutscene, an interlude, and an end scene. Mostly just character building. The only one that feels like it has any stakes is Decker, who is looking to earn money for the orphanage that he and Vert grew up at. For unknown reasons, Vert has grown cold and brooding over the years. Other characters shouldn't be ignored, however. Penny is a cat. Oh wait, she's a sex kitten, I get it. Who finds herself looking for her love, with Freddy the Robot trying to find his one and only friend. Gigi and Bob are both bratty kids who are looking to prove themselves as more than just kids.
What are you doing? I'm putting a curse on you.
And Mr. Smith and Piggy Sue are both old, a bit washed up, but still have their motives to try and reclaim some of that former glory.
The Johnson Bros.
Oh, because one of them looks like a penis, I get it.
Are on the hunt for their missing third.
While Sally just longs to be popular, which she thinks will get her friends. Oh. Wait, is that what being popular looks like? No wonder no one likes me. These plot threads are conveniently tied together so that they can reuse cutscenes, though don't expect too much from them as it's more for character building than it is storytelling. Spoilers, but there isn't really any conclusion to any of this. Probably for the best, because now I can just not talk about the plot anymore, we can just go straight on to gameplay.
Welcome! The name's Kevin.
Welcome to the tutorial. I'm going to assume that you're somewhat familiar with Tony Hawk already, because that makes it easier on me. Ollie, flip, grind, and grab your way to victory. Controls are nearly identical, aside from one important thing. So to speed up in like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, you just hold the Ollie button and you go forward. In this game, it's weird to describe, it's like you have 3 gears. You're either in park, you're cruising slow, or you're actually moving. And you tap up and down to go between these 3. The question is just like, why would you ever need to go slow? Why do I have to tap up a bunch just to go at normal speed? This is the one major flaw of the controls though, everything else is fine. The main thing intentionally differentiating this game from other skaters is the negative reaction system. Long before the skate games had you maiming yourself for amusement's sake, Go Hypergrind is asking you to decapitate yourself, light yourself on fire, impale your guts, all for the sake of slapstick comedy. You got a meter down below to showcase how much longer these transformations last, and they even add to your combos so long as you're effective, making moves a lot easier to string together. The gimmick is not only central to a lot of challenges, but is often used to navigate stages. Overall, it's pretty cool and it's used well. And now, a PSA courtesy of the Funny Arcade. Did you know that the Dolphin emulator has a built-in free look mod that can be used with pretty much any game? This is actually crazy to me. I thought you needed like fancy hacks or to be a smart guy for this, but it's just a toggle in one of the menus. I bring this up now because literally the only interesting thing I found free camming in this entire game is in the gymnasium. As you can see, the floor here is reflective. Well, it's not actually reflective as there's an entire gym mirrored underneath to make the illusion of reflections. Very cool, kid. They used to not have mirrors. That's how they used to do it.
Alright, let's get started!
The The story mode has you competing against other skaters in the sort of challenges you would expect, seeing who can get the biggest score, the biggest combo, along with some more unique ones. Simon Says has you racing to maim yourself in whatever means the game asks you, and each stage has a mini-game challenge that's wholly unique to the stage. Your placing gives you X amount of points, and so long as you're not in last place in the rankings at the end of each stage, you're good. Speaking of stages... Our first stop is Toon City, the archetypal Acmeville, USA, complete with skate parks, reckless drivers, robot stores, and milk billboards with massive pendulum breasts. My dad watches these. Sorry, Dad. Notable obstacles include the cars that'll absolutely sideblind you at any given opportunity, and outhouses that'll cover you head to toe in chocolate. While this may seem like a horribly bland stage for something promising crazy cartoon antics, I find it perfectly suitable for the genre. Think about the iconic Tony Hawk stages, the mall, suburbia, the school 2. The entire punk image Tony Hawk Pro Skater built up was around the idea of tearing up the neighborhood with your friends, blaring music, and this stage invokes that with just the right amount of crude edge. The song playing is another track by the Grizzlies, which is also pretty good. I rate this stage a solid 4 out of 5. It also features a versus minigame in which you battle against your opponent Mario Kart style. The primary difference is that this isn't Mario Kart, wasn't intended to be Mario Kart, and is a nightmare in every way imaginable. First off, you get items by crashing into negative reactions, simple enough. Throwing the items, however, has you using the right stick to toss whatever item you have in a 360-degree radius. This feels like garbage, and wouldn't be that bad aside from the fact that the CPU has perfect mastery over this jank, and will snipe you from behind constantly. Not only that, but getting hit causes you to lose your current item, making it incredibly hard to keep any sort of advantage, but if that's not enough, you get next to no invincibility frames. You're going to lose, that's all I can say. Just chuck stuff behind you and pray. Let's get out of here, I'm getting sick of this. Western film is up next, Cowboys and Indians, yeehaw! This is officially where the game starts to lose me on its aesthetic. So far it's been like a cartoony Tony Hawk game. Now it's just like a cartoon, period. The music playing is just the opening theme, which we've already discussed, which is not a good sign that they're recycling it so soon. Thankfully, the stage is well designed. It's very multi-tiered with a bit of interior space, and a lot of negative reactions are built to get you around the larger landscape. I'm a big fan of this section that's just made up of rails and TNT. It all flows together and makes big combos for you. And you know what, it's so fun that that's what the minigame is based around for this stage. You just blow yourself up over and over. I guess now's as good a time as any to talk about the second versus stage, the race challenges, which puts you up against an opponent racing to collect 3 medals around the stage and then make it to the goal. How do you get these medals? Well, by randomly crashing into stuff, of course. And how do you tell what rewards what? Well, aren't you needy with your questions and your desire for clarification? Most negative reactions don't even give medals, they spit out items to hinder your opponent, or if you're unlucky, yourself. Nothing like bombing yourself after getting your 3rd medal. God forbid you get the no jump boots. The game is practically impossible to play at this point. Just wait the whopping 15 seconds to be allowed to play again. The only reason I hate it less than the battle is that in the battle it feels like you're completely hopeless, but in race it feels like both of you are hopeless. So that's balanced, I guess. I don't know. Sick of ending these stages on downers like that. Let's just go to the next one. Anything is better than this, right? Let's go stage 3. This time we're in Fantasy Studio? Candy canes? Princess castles? I'm sorry, but this is unabashedly not punk. Not even a hint. What is this music? This sounds like the bonus stage of a discount Wii game. What is this stage? On top of that, it's just not very fun to skate around. It feels like there's junk to trip over everywhere. The stage is chopped up into like 3 seasonal-based sections, and there's a backlot to get around everything, but it's so cramped and there's nothing to do in between. It's just a big, huge mess that's a pain to navigate. In fact, it is so unfun, they didn't even bother trying to put a minigame in this stage, and instead make you do both versus stages. Oh my god. The only good thing is that this stage is so boring and bland that I'm already done talking about it in less than a minute. Next stage. Pro tip, so you know how like once the timer is done but you're in the middle of a combo, you can still keep on going until you finish the combo? Well, that's not actually true because Kevin will come out of nowhere and sideblind you if you take too long, and I am going to scream! Okay, Haunted Night. I guess I'm a little more optimistic. I'm a sucker for a good spooky level. That music though, I can't let it slide. There's not much else that screams, we aren't doing everything we wanted to do, more than remixing classical pieces. I mean, it's like an alright mix, but I can tell that they were filling in for the lack of budget for actual licensed tracks. The aesthetic of the stage is classic Scooby-Doo haunted house. Evil trains, mouths slurping up out of the ground, and you can even summon the Grim Reaper by lighting all the candles on the roof. The Pumpkin Smasher minigame has you crashing into as many props as possible in the given time limit. There's not actually too much else to say about this stage, other than that it's pretty big. Feels like one of the more exploratory stages, and I wish they did that a little bit more. As far as maps go that I just sort of skated around just for the sake of skating around, this was one of the ones I spent the most time on. It's pretty much a solid 3 out of 5 stage, so let's just go to the next one, because I actually want to talk about that. Oh yeah, now this is a jam! What you're listening to right now is Russian Roulette by the band Tsunami Bomb, and this is the most Tony Hawk track in the game. I love it so much, and I haven't even talked about the stage itself yet. A factory is a great, grungy industrial setting, perfect for a game like this, and I'm not just saying that because it's just the foundry from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I don't even care about dealing with all the versus stages this time. The multiple levels, the scaffolding to grind all over, and the pistons launching her around is just fun to play on, and just helps you get big combos for the big scoring missions. Articles of note are the big pit of molten lava to toss yourself in, which is the goal of this stage's minigame. Up top there's a set of switches that you can run over to turn on even more pistons to fly around even more, and there's also a little GameCube joystick here. I don't know why, but it's cool, it's fun. That's what this whole stage feels like. The music is cool, the obstacles are cool. Cool stage. Cool stage. 5 out of 5. It'll fit right into a Tony Hawk game. Someone port this into like Thug Pro. Pro tip, this game has sketching in it, which I did not know about for the entirety of my playthrough until I was rooting around and found a really old screenshot of someone doing it, and I thought it was a cut feature. Because this is not used for any missions, it's not mentioned in any tutorials, it's not mentioned on the controls screen, there's no point in the game where you have to do it or are told about it. The only reasonable way I could see someone knowing about this move is either through really old screenshots of when the game was first coming out, or through demo disc number 13 for the GameCube, in which the mechanic is actually even acknowledged. Okay, time to come crashing back down to reality. Fantasy Studio is definitely my least favorite stage in the game, but this one is a close second. I hope you enjoyed the good music, because now we're back to the filler tracks. I think this one is going for like a hip-hop vibe, and that's not like a bad thing in and of itself. It's bad because it's bad. It just sounds like a bunch of sound effects looped together. It's sloppy, muddled, choppy, and like, hey, am I talking about the music or am I talking about the stage layout right now? At first glance, it's an absolute nightmare to navigate, with both of the big sections of the map being separated by a river. And on that river are a bunch of little turtles that you have to awkwardly jump across in order to get to the other side, and I hope you get good at it because that's what the minigame is. Certain negative reactions will also launch you over to the other side of the river, but it's just like, going through it on your first try is such a pain. Even if it were fine to navigate, the jungle section of the stage just has a lot of junk obstructing your view. The village just feels like someone dumped a bunch of negative reaction props everywhere, and then the temple is the only one that actually feels like a skate park. But 1 out of 3 is not a passing grade. I'm glad to say with only 2 levels left, we're out of junk ones. The ninja village is pretty slick, a bunch of pieces naturally wrapping around a central pagoda. A hidden switch will turn the dojo into a brothel, which is cool, and ninjas may pop up to catch you off guard, but being ready for them just turns them into combo fodder. The track that plays in this stage is called Trick, and is performed by the Japanese punk band Parking Out. It's pretty good, and also at this point I really got the feeling that they wanted to have a full licensed soundtrack, but just couldn't swing for it. Not much else to say about this stage, it's just a good time. It's just got the good music, aesthetic, layout. It's definitely just one you're gonna throw on when you're just playing for fun, or to record footage for your video.
Now here's the final stage!
We capped this competition off with Hong Kong, and if I'm a sucker for horror, then I'm a double sucker for neon. I don't really care that I keep bumping into these signs, I'm just like, ooh, glowy. While the Chinese restaurant is cramped, the streets and alleys all lead you to the next section of obstacles naturally, as roads do. And the tower on the coast gives easy access to the rooftops for more open skating. This is probably the first time I feel mostly neutral about the music, so I'm just gonna leave it at that and leave it at that. I do gotta say, it just feels right to start the game skating around sidewalks and end it the same way.
Yeah! Rock and roll, man! Yes! Yes, 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 yes!
After beating the game, you unlock Verd as a proper playable character, and beating the game one more time unlocks Kevin as playable as well. Verd has a lot of cool animations on his own, but Kevin takes the cake, honestly. He's one of those secret characters that's an amalgamation of a bunch of other characters, taking special moves from a bunch of characters in the cast. Fun trivia fact, on the official website of the game, Sally is listed as one of the secret characters, not even revealing her name. Even specifically saying that she has to be unlocked. Weird. And look at Kevin out there in the open. Oh, he was recruited by Chief Walt to be an instructor. Chief Walt? Chief? Well, this just hard rolls into more trivia. A peek into the game files show a bunch of character files, each under codenames. A number of files are unused. We've got M-Teach, which might have been turned into Kevin, since the file is not completely barren and he is a male teacher. So, does F-Teach mean like a female Kevin? Ugh. But then there's a file for Chief. Chief? Potentially this Chief Walt character? Some theorize that it's a Native American character that was cut, based off some concept art featuring an Indian village, and the idea that Chief is a code name. We have no idea what kind of character Chief Walt is, so potentially, makes you think. Speaking of concept art, let's take a peek at some more of that. Decker, Penny, Mr. Smith, and Gigi all have vastly different designs from their finals, and to be frank, I sort of lean towards these concepts a bit more than the actual ones. A bit punkier, and I mean, come on, look at that face. There's also this chunk of art with mostly finished designs, aside from Vert down there, who's a lot more blue, more akin to his Player 2 colors. Could that perhaps have been swapped around later in development? Some might call this kind of trivia the bottom of the barrel. I consider it the good stuff. Here's some neat stage ideas where I have no idea where it would even be used, just because I wanted to show it off. Cut content is cool, but as far as any sort of actual beta footage goes, pretty much all I could dig up was this one clip that's not even that old looking. Not too much to see, the HUD is just sort of shifted around. I like the reaction meter more way up there. But as far as listening goes... that is definitely a different mix of the main theme. I don't even know if that's the same band. Listening carefully, I think that's a completely different singer. Ooh, download link. That makes my life easier. And, oh, no thanks, IGN. I'm not paying for this 240 HD video. Let's see, what else do I got that's good? Cheat codes? This old poster?
There are some individuals who will prefer that we not publish a game like Go Hypergrind. Let them vent.
Not only is this adorably edgy, but cute even, considering how tame the game honestly is. Could you imagine people actually getting upset at any point in history over Poopy Monkey Skateboard game? It sort of puts into context how edgeless this game ended up actually being, which I think might have sort of been part of its downfall. It kind of fails at making use of its Spumco world and capturing the extreme sports atmosphere people expect. Even if it does have its own charms, it shows promise of one thing and delivers another. Can I really fault it for that? Is this even really a review show? Not really, it's more like a stream of consciousness because no one else wants to talk to me about these weird games. But you still want to talk about them with me, right? Wait, no, don't leave!